Millie and Louis, also known as the Helpful Heathens, what is it that brought you to come to set up a community allotment?
Essentially, the reason why we started doing what we're doing during lockdown, I had in like quite a long period of really quite severe depression where I just sit and look outside and not pay attention to anything else and just look outside. So Millie decided that
I couldn't get you to leave the chair once you were out of bed, but you'd just sit in the chair, so I thought, right, I'll get some bird watching, I'll give purpose to it. And so we started putting bird seed out on the wall and feeding the birds.
Get me some bird watching books and
Yeah.
figured out how to we're attracting these different birds in with all we're feeding, and we thought, right, this is fantastic, and that was getting me outside of the garden to feed the birds.
And then we started litter picking and we noticed there were no wildflowers or anything about.
So we thought, right, okay, we need to do something about this, and
We started planting in his garden, and then we
we're off to the allotment and
here we are.
snowballed into this.
It's a really, really good story, and it's great that you've kind of come through that. So, would you like to tell us a little bit more about the allotment?
We wanted to design it in a way that wasn't just about benefiting human life, it was about benefiting all
Everything.
life, like
Yeah,
wildlife, because we're all integral, we're all part of the same ecosystem. So we planted things to attract birds in, and those birds then predate the slugs that keep us off as lettuces and things like that.
We planted things into like marigolds to stop, because marigolds release a chemical when they flower that stops certain pests from coming around things. So it's all about companion planting and what works with what we can use for soil web as well, so that everything that we plant, what it takes away, something puts back in, and so we don't have to put any chemical fertilizers or anything like that in.
So like that, the pesticides and chemical fertilizers, like, you might not think it, but it does so much damage to soil and to local wildlife. So we're trying to do it in a way that not only feeds everything, but encourages life, and it's regenerative. A lot of us inspirations come from permaculture. I mean, we're not professionals at it by any stretch of the imagination, but we're having a good go.
We're having a go. It's all what we've researched and learned ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, so how would you say that the allotment benefits people?
I'm a really anxious person, and for me, I've always got like a mental list going on, things that need to be done, and my head's constantly running at speed. But when I'm here and I'm planting, it's quiet, and it's just one thought at a time, and I can let it go. We had quite a traumatic year last year.
Yes.
We lost a baby, and it would come in here and planting things that got us through it, because we could just give it, we could dig it away, we could dig away his pain, we could dig away his hurt or anything like that. We could just...
A lot of our grief and pain is buried in here, but it's turned into something beautiful.
How would it benefit people who are going to kind of reach out to and see if people want to come and join you?
The hope.
It gives you purpose as well, because
Purpose.
like we do plant flowers and things, but a lot of what we plant's food as well, and so there's a purpose in it, and there's a result, and like we can make jam. We've got a little thingy burner, we could make jam.
We've met so many friends, really quite encouraging. There's a real sense of community about it, and that's important.
You mentioned making jams. Is that just one of the skills that you kind of pass on to people, or have you got other?
Making jams.
You can make jams. You can
foraging.
make pickles,
Yeah.
foraging.
We started to learn how to make tea. We can make tea out of bramble leaves, and so we started drying his own tea, drying herbs, drying flowers as well, and things like that, just for looking pretty.
And learning what works together in terms of a planting and designing aspect of it. Like certain plants working well together, whereas other plants just not getting on at all, and it's just learning that process of what works well together.
Alongside volunteering and skills that people gain, is there anything else that you think it would benefit people?
This is going to sound really strange, but there's a connection to it.
Yeah.
There is a connection to it, and I think the problem with what we're having as a society, and the problem we're having is because we're so disconnected from one another, and there is a disconnect from where this food comes from. But having that connection of putting seed into soil and watching it grow and then enjoying the produce after you finished it is a completely different experience. I can't stand strawberries bought from shop. But strawberries grown from here, it's a completely different experience. There's an appreciation and a gratitude for yourself for sticking with it and watching it come to fruition.
And you feel grounded as well. Like everything's so busy around you, and I mean, like it's we're in Middletown. It's busy around us, but there's a slowness to it. You don't have to go fast. You don't have to rush. It takes a while for the seed to turn into seeds and to turn into plants. So you learn to slow down, and it's important and it's mindful.
You're learning as you're going along, and you're also getting more connected to nature, and you're wanting to create that community.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that is something.
It's not just about planting as well, because like we build planters, I mean the decking that we built over there, that we built out of pallets, we learn as we go as well.
In the long run, you'd like to bring more people in, enough people connecting with each other.
If we can show another person and they learn the lessons from it that we've learned, and it's just one person that's done it, and it's all been worth it, because then that person can then show somebody else.
And that's a really good message to kind of finish this on. Thank you for your time today.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it.